Greetings, everyone. So what we are going to be looking at today, we are going to be looking at, algebraic fractions, right? And what is important that we are going to be looking at today, we are going to be looking at algebraic fractions that involves addition or subtraction, right? So that is going to be what we are looking at, right? Now, it is important that, we go through some of these steps for, simplifying your algebraic fractions, right? So I think one of the necessary steps that you need to check is that firstly, you need to factorize the denominator and the numerator when necessary, right? So firstly, you must be in a position to factorize your numerator and also and your denominator whenever it's necessary, right? So that's the first thing that you need to do when it comes to the ones that are involving, addition and subtraction. The second one is that whenever you are, you are required to, solve this, you need to be in a position to cancel your like terms in each of the terms, right? So you must be in a position to cancel like terms. But remember, your like term must not be separated by a plus or a minus, right? So it can either be separated by the division sign or the multiplication sign only, right? And now, wherever necessary, number 3 is that you need to look for the what? For your LCD, right? So you need to always find for the lowest common denominator, right? And now you must also be in a position that once you found out your LCD, right? Your lowest common denominator, not your M, you must put each term, each term push each term under under your LCD, right? So that's what is also important that you need to do. And your number 5 is that you need to now carry the products. I know this, sounds very, complicated, but you'll see when we do. But what you need to do, you need to carry out the product in the numerator and add like terms, right? You'll see that. And then now you factorize also your numerator. So your number 6 will be factorize also now your numerator if possible and cancel any like term, right? So you are still factorizing and you are canceling, right? If there is any form of necessity for you to do so. So these are some of the most important things when it comes to factorizing your algebraic fractions that involves addition and also multiplication. Now let's make up some space here and then see in terms of what is it that we can do with our number 1, right? Hopefully you are ready for us to solve this. Now we are going to follow some of these steps that I started by sharing with you, right? Let's get our red color here. So now the first thing is when you look at this numerator, what you are having is you are having your 3x squared, but and as you can see that there's nothing that we can really do with this 3x squared, right? So we're just going to write this as 3x squared over now, but in your denominator, there's really something important that we can do. We can, factorize this too, right? We can factorize. So when you factorize, this is going to be your x and this is going to be your x. So any product of 6 that can give us your negative x here, it's going to what? It's going to be 2 and what? And 3. And since you are required to have negative there, this is going to be your negative. And also this is going to be a positive, right? So now let's move swiftly along. In this side, we are going to have 3 over what? Let me write nicely here, over your x subtract your 3. And then the last one, you're having negative into what? Into 3x over your x plus your 2. Isn't it so? So that is what is important. Now, the next thing that I said is that now you need to identify your LCD, or rather one of the factor that is not present here. Now, look, let's use another color. Now, firstly, I think if you can look under your LCD, surely there's something that you can be able to identify. You are having, look, you're having x plus 2 here. You're having x subtract 3 here. But here, you only have x subtract 2. What is missing is x plus 2, right? And here, you're only having x plus 2. What is missing is x subtract 2, right? So which means what you can identify as your LCD here, your LCD, I don't know what this M always comes back. So this is going to be your LCD, and your LCD, which means it's going to be x plus your 2 and also x subtract your 3. This is going to be your LCD, which means you need to make sure that your numerator, or rather your denominator, have your x plus 2 and your x subtract 3. Now, if you start from this first one, right? From this first one, all of these are the same, right? So let's just copy this the way it is. So this is going to be just 3x squared over your x plus your 2 and also your x subtract your 3. Now, however, if you look at this second one, right, you only have this one as your denominator. So which means what you need is now this, your x plus 2. And remember what you do in your denominator, you also do in your numerator. So this is going to be 3 into what? X plus your what? X plus your 2. And then your denominator now will be same as x plus your 2, close bracket. The other one is x, subtract your 3, close bracket. Now let's look at the last one. The last one, you only have what? Let's get another color so that you can see. Your last one, what is it that you only have? You only have your x plus your 2, which is this one. What you don't have is this one, right? So which means you're going to multiply by x subtract 3, both in your numerator and your denominator. So this is going to be 3x into your x plus what? Your x subtract your 3, isn't it so? Over what is it in your denominator? Then your denominator is going to be the same, x plus 2 and x subtract 3, right? So can you see that your denominators now are the same, right? So since your denominators are the same, now you can write all of these under one roof, right? So you can just write this all under the common denominator, which is x plus your 2 and also x subtract your 3, because all these denominators here are more or less the same, right? So that's what you are going to do. Then now you're going to now multiply your numerator. So this is going to be your 3x squared. Now, what is it that you're going to do here? This is going to be negative 3 multiplied by x. So this is going to be minus 3 x. And the negative multiplied by this positive, what is it that you are going to have now here? So now can you see that this negative is going to have an influence here? So this is going to be minus what? Minus 6, right? And when you're having your minus 6 now, you come this side. This side is going to be negative also. So this is negative 3x. So this is going to be now what? Negative 3x squared when you multiply with this negative, and when you multiply this one is going to be negative and negative, yes, positive 9x, right? So that's that. And then now what is it that you can identify here? Surely you are seeing some things that are common. This one and this one is common. Your 3x squared and minus 3x squared, these two are common. So those are going to cancel, right? And now what is it that you are now going to have here? Let's see, what is it that you're going to have? Now you can add the like terms, right? Let's get our red color again. So this is going to be same as negative 3x plus 9x. That's one is going to be same as 9 subtract 3. So this is going to be what? Your 6x. And you're having 6x, subtract your 6 over what is in your denominator. It's x plus your 2, close bracket, and x minus your 3. Is there anything that you can do here? Probably yes, you can just take out the 6 as a common factor here, because 6 is common here and here. So you can say this is 6 over x subtract your 1 under what? X plus 2 and also x subtract 3. And then this is now indeed your solution. So then you have solved this example 1, right? So now let's look at our example 2 in terms of now what is it that we are having in example 2? Now, surely you can see that you are in your numerator, you have 3a, you have 3a subtract 4. Surely there's nothing you can do here, right? So you're just going to write that as 3a subtract 4. Now, your denominator, though, there is something that you can do. Look, you're having 3a squared subtract a subtract 4. Isn't it so? And now, surely, you can try and, simplify this or rather factorize this. So what is it that you're going to do to factorize? Obviously, you open your two brackets. This is going to be your 3a and your a because the factors of 3 is only 1 and 3, right? Now, for 4, let's see our middle term. Our middle term is negative, right? So which means what we can do use here as our factors, it's simple. We can use 4. So 4 is going to be this side, and this side you're going to have 1 because look, when you multiply this one and this one, it can give you 4a. When you multiply this one, it can give you what? 3a. And for you to have your negative a here, this must be negative, right? Surely you are following now. And for this to be negative, what needs to happen? Yes, this must be negative and this must be positive. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I think now you get it. So let's just make up some space for this so that we can continue. Now let's continue to the next term. Now, in your numerator, you only have 4a. There's nothing important there. But in our denominator, yes, there's something important. We need to do what? Factorize. So this is going to be your a and your a. So you are going to have what now factors of 3. It's 1 and 3. Now, however, you remember the middle term always takes the sign of the bigger factor. So this is going to be your negative, right? And this is going to be your positive. Isn't it so? Right? So now you come back to your next step. Your next step is now, once you have, simplified this necessarily, now you're going to look for your LCD. Isn't it so? And what is going to be your LCD? Your LCD in this case is going to be what? You check what is common in these denominators. I mean, look, here, what you are having here in your denominator is what? You are having this. But now, before we even look for our LCD, surely, man, you can see that this one and this one are common and they are only separated by a division sign, right? So these two can cancel. So actually what you're left with here, you are left only with 1, right? Because these have canceled, right? Because these two have canceled. So now what is it that you are left with? So this is same as 1 over x plus 1, right? So now let's see. So for you, in your denominator, you have x plus 1, you have x plus 1, but in this side, you have x subtract 3, and it's negative. This side, you don't have that one. So therefore, which means your LCD must be now your x plus 1 and your, not x rather, but your a plus 1 and also your a subtract your 3. Isn't it so? Then yes, that's going to be your LCD. And since you have that as your LCD, I said, remember, you are going to check both sides. Which side doesn't have the LCD of a plus 1 and also a subtract 3? This side, right? So which means you are going to now multiply this side. Let's get our blue color. Multiply your numerator here with your what? Your a subtract your 3. So, and similarly in your denominator, a subtract your 3, right? So now let's then multiply that. So this is going to be 1 into a subtract your 3. Your denominator now is going to be what? It is going to be your a plus 1, the usual, and your a subtract your 3, right? Subtract. Now in this one, you have your a plus 1 and you also have your a subtract 3. So you have both of the denominators. So you leave this as it is. So it's 4a divided by a plus 1 and a subtract your 3. Sure. Now let's then simplify. Let's go and simplify this. Remember, and this is a, this is not 49, this is a. So what is it? Now, can you see that all of these are the same, right? This a plus 1 and a subtract 3 and a plus 1 and a subtract 3 are the same. So this, since they are of the same family now, you can write this under the denominator. Let's write this line to be nice, man, right? So you're going to write this under the same roof, right? So this is going to be a plus 1 and a subtract 3, right? Now you solve your numerator. So this is going to be a subtract your 3 because 1 multiplied by this is still going to be the same thing. Subtract your what? Your 4a. And now is there anything that you can you can actually do there? Now, is there anything that you can do here? Look, now if you can solve this, let's see. What is it that you can do? Now let's solve this. So what you're going to have, look, a subtract 4a. This is going to be negative 3a minus 3 over your a plus 1 and also your a subtract 3. Let's make up some space here. So now look, you can then simplify this. So when you simplify this, you can take out negative 3 as a common factor. So this is going to be negative 3 into a plus what? Into a plus 1, right? Because when you multiply your negative 3 with 1, you still get negative 3, right? Over your a plus 1 and also your a subtract your 3. Now you can see these two and this one are going to cancel. So which means actually your answer, let's write it here. Your actual answer is going to be negative 3 over a subtract your 3. Now you have successfully solved this one. Are we together? So hopefully, most of you are now not going to encounter some difficulties when it comes to solving algebraic fractions involving positive and negative. Thank you very much.